The apex predator cub's containment failed 3 minutes ago, and the human just walked into the secure zone, asking if anyone heard a puppy crying. Kyle thus felt his secondary heart stop as he stared at the security feed. The human, Emma Johnson, their new maintenance specialist, was inside Containment Base 7, where the Zircon cub was loose. "Someone get her out!" he roared into the comm, his claws nearly cracking the console. "Sir, she's not responding to hails," his deputy reported, mandibles clicking in panic. "She disabled her comm receiver." "She what?" Kael'thas pulled up the bioscanner. The human's heart rate was calm, steady, like she was taking a walk through a botanical garden instead of entering a zone that had killed 3 trained handlers last cycle. "All personnel, code extinction." Vexithul's voice boomed through station-wide comms. "Evacuation Protocol 7 Alpha. This is not a drill." Through the feed, Kael'thas watched Emma follow the sound deeper into the bay. The Zircon cub's distress calls, which registered as crying to the human's primitive auditory system, echoed through the space. Except those weren't distress calls. Those were hunting vocalizations. "Azila!" Kael'thas switched channels. "I need options now." The xenobiologist's voice came through, high-pitched with terror. "There are no options. Zircon cubs kill on instinct. Their bite force can pierce combat armor. She has maybe 90 seconds before—" "Oh my God, you poor baby, you're terrified." Every being in the security center froze. Emma's voice, picked up by the bay's internal sensors, was soft, gentle. She'd found the cub. Kael'thas zoomed the camera. The cub was cornered against the far wall, back arched, quills fully extended. Its throat sac was inflated, the final warning before a killing strike. Every sentient species in the known galaxy recognized that posture. It meant death. Emma was walking toward it. "Seal the bay," someone shouted. "We can't." Kael'thas slammed his fist down. "The sealing protocol will vent atmosphere. It'll kill her and the cub. Better than letting an apex predator loose on the station." "It's a protected species," Azila shrieked. "If we harm it, the Galactic Conservation Council will shut down this entire facility. 17 years of research gone." Vexthul's face appeared on Kael'thas's screen, all 4 of his eye stalks dilated with stress. "Armed response teams are 90 seconds out. Can we stun it?" "Stun fields don't work on Zircon neurology," Azila said, her voice breaking. "They evolved on a high radiation world. Their nervous systems are shielded." On the screen, Emma crouched down, actually lowered herself to the cub's level. Is she trying to make herself more vulnerable? Kael'thas couldn't process what he was seeing. The cub's pupils had narrowed to slits, its haunches tensed. Every xenobiological text in existence agreed. This was the moment before the kill. "Somebody contact the human embassy," Vexithul said quietly. "We need to notify her next of kin." Emma extended her hand toward the cub's face, toward its teeth. "She's going to die," Azila whispered. "By all the stars, she's going to die, and we're going to watch it happen." Kael'thas couldn't look away from the screen. The human was smiling, actually smiling at certain death. Yeah, you're very scary," Emma said, her tone somehow both soothing and amused. "Who's a fierce little hunter?" "You are. Yes, you are." The cub lunged. Kael'thas didn't breathe. Couldn't breathe. Every being in the security center watched the screen with the stillness of prey, animals facing death. The cub's jaws opened wide, fangs designed by evolution to punch through reinforced bone plating gleaming in the bay's lighting. It moved with the fluid efficiency that had made Zircon the apex predator of their homeworld for 20 million years. Emma's hand remained extended. Emergency stun fields. Kael'thas slammed the activation switch. Nothing happened. Sir, the system's not responding. Override it. Manual activation. Trying. It's like the system doesn't recognize the threat. Azila's workstation erupted with data streams. 47, she shouted, her voice cracking. Zircon cubs have killed 47 trained xenobiological handlers across 12 stations, adults of 17 different species. This human has zero combat training, no protective equipment, and she's talking to it. On screen, Emma continued her strange vocalization. Oh, such big teeth you have. Are you trying to be intimidating? Is that what's happening here? What is she doing? Vexthul had abandoned his command center and was now in the security room, all 4 eye stalks fixed on the monitor. I believe, Kael'thas said slowly, his training warring with his observations. She's using vocal reassurance patterns, but they make no semantic sense. She's talking to it like it's a juvenile of her own species, Azila finished, horror in her voice. She's treating an apex predator like a child. The cub's lunge brought its face centimeters from Emma's hand. Its throat sac pulsed. The killing strike position. Representatives from 6 different species had joined the security feed. Kael'thas could see them in the split screens, all documenting what they believed would be the first human death on a conservation station. The diplomatic nightmare. The end of the human exchange program. I have the human embassy, someone reported. Tell them. Vexthul started. The cub's tongue extended and licked Emma's palm. Sensor malfunction, Kael'thas barked immediately. Run full diagnostics on Bay 7, all feeds. Sir, sensors are operating at optimal. Then they're wrong. He pulled up the biological data. Zircon don't have pacification behaviors. They don't lick. It's not in their behavioral repertoire. On screen, Emma laughed. Actually laughed. There we go, see? I'm not scary. Well, okay. I probably smell weird to you, but I'm not here to hurt you. The cub, the creature that had required 3 armed security teams to transport from its birth chamber, pressed its head against Emma's hand. Azila's voice failed. Emma scratched behind the cub's sensory ridge. The cub's pupils dilated, its quills lowered. The threat sac deflated. Just needed someone to not act like prey, Emma said, as if she could hear them. They can smell fear, you know. Predators always can. You guys came in here with weapons and containment fields and treated him like a monster. Of course he's defensive. Him? Kael'thas whispered. She's gendered it? Emma stood, and every species representative made sounds of alarm. The cub was easily 40 kilograms of muscle and fang. If it felt threatened by the movement, Emma picked it up. She picked up the Zircon cub, cradled it against her chest like it was something precious and fragile instead of a biological killing machine. And the cub made a sound. No, Azila breathed. No, that's impossible. It was purring, a deep, resonant vibration that should not exist in Zircon physiology. They didn't have the organ structures for purring. It violated every anatomical scan, every genetic analysis, My entire understanding of predator-prey dynamics just collapsed, Kael'thas said numbly. Emma was walking toward the bay exit, the cub tucked in her arms, still making that impossible sound. There's a good boy, she cooed. Let's get you back to your mama, okay? She's probably worried sick. In the security center, 17 different species stared at their monitors in absolute silence. Finally, Vexthul spoke. Did Did the human just say she's taking it to its mother? The adult zircon's containment alarm began screaming. Emma emerged from containment bay 7, carrying the zircon cub like it was a domesticated pet. The cub had its head resting on her shoulder, still producing that physiologically impossible purring sound. "Oh, good. You're all here," Emma said cheerfully to the dozen armed security personnel who'd frozen in their positions. "Which way to the mother's containment? This little guy needs his mom." In the adjacent bay, proximity alarms shrieked. The adult female zircon was throwing herself against the reinforced barriers, her vocalizations reaching frequencies that cracked 2 monitoring screens. "Emma Johnson, stop moving!" Kyle Thas's voice boomed through the external speakers. "Protocol demands immediate separation. Adult zircon under stress will kill their own offspring. It's a documented survival mechanism." Emma paused, looking up at the nearest camera. "Oh, you're worried about your baby?" she called out, somehow addressing the mother through 3 meters of reinforced durasteel. "Let me help." "No." Azila's scream echoed through every speaker. "Stop. Adult zircon are classified as extinction-level threats. She's 400 kilograms of evolutionary perfection. Her bite force can shear through hull plating." Emma was already walking toward Containment Bay 8. "Snipers," Vexthul ordered. "Get a clear shot." "Sir, the human is carrying the cub. We can't fire without hitting both." "Evacuate sections 7 through 12. Seal all bulkheads. If that adult breaks containment..." Kael'thas was already running. His legs carried him through corridors on pure instinct, while his mind screamed that this was insane. He reached the containment control room as Emma arrived at the barrier entrance. "Don't," he said, his voice hoarse. "Please. That creature will kill you and the cub. I've seen the footage. I've read the reports. When stressed, they..." "She's just scared," Emma interrupted, her tone patient. "Look at her body language." Kael'thas pulled up the internal feed. The adult zircon was a nightmare of teeth and claws, slamming against the barriers with enough force to dent the reinforced materials. Her quills were fully extended, her throat sac inflated to maximum. That's attack posture." He jabbed a claw at the screen. "That's literally in every manual, every training program. That is a creature preparing to kill." Emma shifted the cub to one arm and pointed at the screen. "No. Her ears, see those sensory ridges? They're back and flattened. That's fear, not aggression. And listen to her vocalizations. Those aren't hunting calls. They're distress patterns. She thinks her baby is in danger." "Because her baby is in danger. From you guys, yeah," Emma said. "She can probably smell the weapons, the fear scent from everyone. You're surrounding her baby with predators." She looked at Kael'thas directly. "She's not aggressive. She's terrified." Kael'thas looked at the screen again. At the mother zircon throwing herself against barriers. At the patterns of movement. At the vocalizations he'd been trained to interpret as pre-kill warnings. What if they were wrong? What if centuries of xenobiological research was wrong? "If I open that barrier," he said slowly, "and you're incorrect, you'll die in seconds. And I'll have killed you." Emma smiled. "Then I guess I better be right. Watch." His hand moved to the control panel before his brain could stop it. "This violates 43 safety protocols." "Yeah, well," Emma said, "sometimes protocols are wrong." The barrier opened. The adult zircon exploded through the gap like a force of nature. 400 kilograms of muscle, fang, and claw, moving with terrifying speed. Every alarm in the facility screamed warnings. Emma set the cub down. "Easy, Mama. Baby's okay. See?" The mother's charge should have ended with Emma torn apart. Should have been the diplomatic incident that ended human presence on conservation stations forever. Should have been exactly what every manual, every protocol, every expert predicted. The mother stopped centimeters from Emma's face. Her massive head lowered, sniffing, analyzing. The cub mewed and scrambled toward its mother, who immediately began grooming it with her tongue. Then the mother turned back to Emma. "Good, Mama," Emma said softly, extending her hand. "You take such good care of your baby." Kael'thas watched, his body locked in place, as Emma scratched behind the adult zircon's sensory ridges. The same ridges that housed electromagnetic sensors capable of detecting heartbeats through walls. The mother's eyes closed. Her quills lowered. She leaned into Emma's touch. Then she rolled over. A 400-kilogram apex predator, classified as an extinction-level threat, rolled onto her back and exposed her vulnerable underside to a human. In the control room, Azila fainted. Emma laughed and scratched the mother's chest plates. "There's a good girl. You're just a big softy, aren't you?" The mother's purring joined her cubs, creating a harmonic resonance that rattled the monitoring equipment. "Predators aren't monsters," Emma said, looking up at the cameras with a gentle smile. "They're just parents protecting their babies." Kael'thas sat down heavily, his legs no longer able to support him. Everything he knew was wrong. Everything they all knew was wrong. And the human was giving belly rubs to a creature that, until 3 minutes ago, he would have classified as unkillable. Within 2 hours, the station's main conference room was packed with senior xenobiologists from across the sector. Dr. Zenith, head of the Galactic Conservation Council's Predator Studies Division, stood at the front, all 3 of his vocal sacs inflated with indignation. "Explain," he demanded, "how a maintenance technician with 0 xenobiological training did what 47 trained handlers could not." Emma, sitting cross-legged on the floor with the zircon cub asleep in her lap, shrugged. "Basic animal behavior. You guys were treating them like killing machines, so they responded to the threat. They are killing machines." Dr. Zenith's display frills flared. "Evolution designed them for survival, yeah," Emma interrupted. "Same as literally every other predator. But you're approaching them like they're weapon systems instead of, living creatures with emotions and social structures." Azila, recovered from her fainting spell but still visibly shaken, pulled up a holographic display. "Humans evolved alongside apex predators. Earth has." She scrolled through data. Documented cohabitation with creatures called bears, tigers, lions, crocodiles. "Wolves," Emma added. "We domesticated wolves, actual wolves. Turned them into dogs over thousands of years. These guys?" She gestured at the sleeping cub. "They're basically space cats. Big, scaly space cats, but the behavioral patterns are similar." "Impossible," another xenobiologist stated flatly. "Wolves are classified as threat level 7 predators. Your species should have been hunted to extinction." Emma laughed. "Oh, they tried. We just got better at communicating with them. Turned out they liked us better as partners than prey." The Council of Xenobiologists had assembled via emergency protocols, their holograms surrounding the conference table. Kael'thas stood against the wall, still processing everything he'd witnessed. "You've been studying predators like their weapons systems," Emma continued, scratching the cub's sensory ridge as it stirred. "All your protocols are based on dominance, containment, control. You see threat displays and assume aggression, but you're missing the context." She pulled up Azila's research files, centuries of documented zircon behavior. This interaction here, labeled pre-kill tremor? She's purring. That's contentment. This posture you call attack stance. That's defensive fear. And this vocalization classified as a hunting call? Emma played the audio. That's a mother calling for her baby. The room fell silent. No, Dr. Zenith said weakly. We've studied these creatures for centuries, yeah. Through barriers and force fields and weapons. Emma's voice was gentle but firm. You never tried just talking to them, treating them like intelligent beings instead of specimens. Vexthul leaned forward, his eye stalks trembling. You're saying we've been traumatizing protected species? For generations? Yeah, basically. Emma stood carefully, cradling the sleeping cub. They're scared of you. You come in with your containment fields and stun weapons and treat every natural behavior like a threat. They respond accordingly. Demonstrate, Dr. Zenith demanded. If your theory is correct, prove it with other species. Over the next hour, Emma moved through the containment bays with Kyle Thas and a dozen stunned xenobiologists in tow. The Kyrath serpent, classified as threat level 9, wrapped itself around her shoulders and nuzzled her neck. The Vorn pack, known for their coordinated kill strategies, played with her like she was one of their own. The Drax, whose venom could kill most species in seconds, let her check its teeth for decay. Every dangerous specimen responded to Emma's approach the same way, with curiosity, affection, or calm acceptance. How is your species not extinct? Kylthas finally asked, watching Emma give the Drax what she called chin scritches. Emma grinned. We learn to work with nature instead of against it. Usually, sometimes, it's complicated. She paused. We also went through a phase where we tried to fight everything, and that went badly for everyone involved. Learned our lesson eventually. Eventually, Azila repeated faintly. Yeah, we're slow learners sometimes. Emma carefully extracted herself from the Drax's enclosure. But the thing about humans, we're really good at pattern recognition. And we figured out pretty early that making friends with the scary things was more effective than fighting them. Dr. Zenith's vocal sacs had deflated completely. We need to revise everything. Every protocol, every containment procedure, every assumption about predator behavior. Emma finished. Yeah, probably. But hey, look at the bright side. Your mortality rates are about to drop dramatically. The zircon cub woke up and mewed. Emma smiled. Speaking of which, this little guy needs food. Where do you keep the... Wait, what do you feed them? The horrified look on every xenobiologist's face told her everything. Oh no, Emma said. Please tell me you've been feeding them appropriate food. We provide nutritionally complete sustenance pellets formulated. Emma groaned. You've been giving apex predators kibble? No wonder they're stressed. 3 weeks later, the Galactic Conservation Council issued Emergency Directive 7743, complete revision of predator management protocols. 17 research stations began implementing what was now officially termed the human approach to apex predator care. Vexthul found Emma in Containment Bay 8, giving the zircon cub a bath in a modified cleaning station. The cub was splashing water everywhere, making happy chirping sounds that weren't in any behavioral database. We'd like to offer you the position of Chief Interspecies Behavior Consultant, Vexthul said. Full council authority, salary increase of 400%, choice of station assignment. Emma scrubbed behind the cub's sensory ridges. Nah, I'm good. I'm just here to fix your feeding systems, but I can consult on the side if you need me." "This should be impossible," Vexthul muttered, watching the cub try to bite the water stream. "This violates 57 safety protocols." Emma laughed. "Yeah, well, love's weird like that." The results were undeniable. Station mortality rates had dropped to 0. Handler injuries, none. Specimen stress indicators down 78%. 3 cubs had been born in captivity for the first time in conservation history. All healthy, all thriving. Kael'thas had become Emma's most dedicated student. He could now identify actual threat displays versus fear responses, read social bonding behaviors, and understand that not every vocalization was a prelude to violence. His security teams had traded stun weapons for treat pouches. The Drax likes having her neck scales brushed in this pattern, he explained to a new handler, demonstrating the gentle circular motion. "See how her pupils dilate? That's contentment, not predatory focus." Azila had published 7 papers in 3 weeks, all crediting what she called Emma's primitive but effective observational methods. Other xenobiologists were less diplomatic, but the data didn't lie. Conservation stations across 12 sectors were requesting human wildlife specialists. Emma spent her mornings training alien staff in non-threatening posture and respect protocols, which mostly involved teaching them to stop acting like prey. "You're broadcasting fear scent from 3 different glands," she told a nervous Quilaxian handler. "The Vorn can smell it from their containment bay. Relax. They're not going to eat you." "Probably." "Probably? I mean, don't be stupid about it." "But yeah, probably." Diplomatic channels were exploding with requests. The Andromeda Conservation Network wanted 20 human specialists. The Outer Rim Preservation Society was offering unreasonable amounts of credits for consultation. The council itself was creating an entire new division. Emma waved them all off. "Anyway, those feed systems still need rewiring," she said, heading toward the maintenance bay with her tool bag. Kael'thas followed, the zircon cub trotting at Emma's heels like an oversized, scaly puppy. "You just revolutionized xenobiology and you're worried about feed systems? Hey, somebody's got to keep the lights on. Plus, the rewiring is actually interesting. Did you know your power distribution network is running at like 60% efficiency? I can fix that." "You're impossible." "Yeah, I get that a lot." Emma paused at the bay entrance, looking back at the mother zircon, who was sprawled contentedly in a nest of blankets Emma had introduced. "She doing okay?" "She's perfect," Kael'thas said softly. "They both are, thanks to you." Emma grinned. "Thanks to you guys being willing to learn. That's the hard part." Across the galaxy, the Galactic Conservation Summit convened an emergency session to discuss the human variable and its implications for protected species management. Xenobiologists, diplomats, and council members from 300 worlds debated protocol revisions and training programs. Emma wasn't there. She was too busy teaching a Quilaxian security officer the proper way to scratch a Kyrath serpent's sensory nodes while the zircon cub supervised, occasionally mewing helpful suggestions. "No, see, you got to get under the scales," Emma explained. "Yeah, like that. See how she's leaning into it? That means you're doing it right." The Kyrath serpent purred, another physiologically impossible sound that had become routine since Emma arrived. Behind them, Vexthul watched through the observation window, all 4 eye stalks focused on the human who'd accidentally revolutionized their entire understanding of predatory behavior by simply being kind. "How did we miss this?" he asked Azila. "We were looking for threats," she said quietly. "We forgot to look for family." In the maintenance bay, Emma had already moved on, elbow deep in the power distribution panel, humming to herself while the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy dozed peacefully around her. Just another Tuesday.